Sci-Fi Channel.
Although they say that time waits for no man, on May 13th in London's Piccadilly, the Sci-Fi Channel attended the event that proved this adage wrong. The premiere screening of the long-awaited Doctor Who film.
There are thousands, like thousands upon thousands, of loyal fans waiting for this moment.
Speaking to some of the privileged people attending the screening, we found out their expectations before the film and their reactions after it, while some of the people responsible for the show's return gave us the background on its latest regeneration. But first, a sneak preview of what's to come.
It's just unbelievably exciting that the programme's coming back after all this time.
I think it's very exciting.
There's a lot of very excited people around here.
It's a great programme, and I've had a ball. I did 3 years doing it, playing the part, and had a wonderful time. It is also a British institution.
But not all institutions are worth keeping, so what's so special about this one?
Well, I know that Doctor Who has so many fans, and for a very long time now, I've received a huge amount of correspondence about it. And here were enthusiasts, the people from Universal. Originally, we started this project off with Steven Spielberg, so it seemed to me that was, if we were going to have a partnership, then that was as good a partnership as any. And we found Fox very committed and enthusiastic about it, and so I felt, you know, we must give it this opportunity.
Phil Siegel, who's the executive producer, I think it's fair to say, a Doctor Who fanatic. And he's English, living in America, but he was really, really brought up on Doctor Who, and he's been very insistent that we're very truthful to the original stories. Even though a new audience has to, you know, discover things for the first time, we're trying to make it accessible for that audience, but also trying to make it so that the fans who've stuck with the show for the last 30 years or whatever still appreciate it, and they don't think we're going off and doing something that's just sort of, quote, Americanized.
Well, I think it's very true to say that there is a very strong fan base, and I talk to a lot of those fans. I know that they really, really want Doctor Who to come back. Equally, though, I think there's a new audience, and I think this film really does its best to appeal to that new audience. I mean, I have to say, I think the film is fantastic. I think when people see it, they'll be excited by it, they'll be amused by it, they'll just love it. I hope that they feel the same way as I do about it.
With so much resting on the performance of the new Doctor, how difficult was it to cast the role?
Incredibly difficult. Finding the right person, finding someone who, in terms of, you know, the Americans, would make a commitment to it. I think we're incredibly lucky to have got Paul to do it.
I'd heard that they'd got one of the guys from Withnail and I, and my first impression was that it was going to be Richard E. Grant. I bet there's other people who made that mistake. But everything I've ever seen him in is superb.
We had the scares when people like David Hasselhoff and Mickey Mouse and O.J. Simpson and just about everybody else was up for the role of Doctor Who, but I always felt it was going to be a British actor.
I was determined that we would have, that the casting would be as right as we could make it, that an actor of real stature would take the part, that we wouldn't concede that an American would play it. And we've won on all those scores, and I feel that's a real success story.
Paul McGann is extraordinarily well cast. He has amazing eyes.
There's something about the look of him. You can look at a person and say, yes, he would make a good Doctor.
I think that helps tremendously with the whole idea of Doctor Who being somebody who has a slightly childlike quality that you look at and think, yeah, I can believe that this man travels through time.
But the real judges will be the audience. What do they hope to see?
What it's going to be like, I don't know. I've heard that it's kind of dark and mysterious and brooding. Some people have said it's kind of leaning towards the X-Files. As a Doctor Who fan, I think it sounds very exciting. As a family man, I'm a little bit worried that X-Files may not be really considered to be family viewing.
I'm just interested to see what the Americans have done with it and how they've looked after it and what direction they've taken it in. And how it's changed in the 7 years it's been off air.
So how different is this regeneration from the others?
I think the difference between this show and the old show is the opportunity for us to present this world as it was originally conceived. is a greater opportunity. Obviously, they didn't have the money or the time back then to do what they really wanted to do. I think the icons of this show, that blue police box, the doctor in that magnificent costume, his sonic screwdriver, those are things that are icons of the show, and those are things that the BBC expected us to keep. And without them, you really don't have Doctor Who.
The old TARDIS console would have looked out of place. They could have gone very high-tech and Star Trek looking, but that would have looked derivative. They've gone for a very retro Jules Verne, so, you know, brass and mahogany, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. The production values are out of this world.
I did sort of the whole of the 80s, but then this is sort of mid to late 90s, you know, and if we paid too much heed to the past, you know, we'd still be watching black and white with William Hartnell, you know, so I think the show has always got to progress. I think that's been its basic strength, that it has moved on with the times. It's taken on board new technology, it's developed, it's progressed, and I think this is a supreme example.
So long as it's got the TARDIS and the Doctor, it's Doctor Who. The rest, and this is why the programmes live so long, can change ad infinitum.
Coming up next, some clues to the plot of the new Doctor Who film.
Digital destiny. Heavy metal rules. Throw off the bonds of flesh. It's war. Cyborg heroes versus hardcore hardware. Techno dreadheads and death machines. Cybernet.